Well. Plans never go well.
Never go well?
Yep.
Well, you know what they say. You make plans, and then life happens.
Yeah. So, one of the big plans we had coming up sooner than later was trying to finish Jaylena's van and go to Florida, go to Panama City Beach or Pensacola, something out there. Well, these hurricanes came through and screwed it up, and I saw a thing where part of it's like a 3-mile long bridge going to Pensacola broke off. So I don't even think you can get out there anymore.
Yeah.
For a good while. So I don't know what we're gonna do as far as trying to finish the van and go somewhere. I don't know.
How far of a drive is Pensacola?
From here?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those like 14, 15 hour trips, I think.
Well, we could always just take a trip somewhere else. I just don't know where else we would go.
We've already been, but I like Colorado.
I was gonna say that too.
I wouldn't mind doing Colorado and New Mexico again.
That'd be awesome. And we have friends in Colorado too, so it'd be like getting to take a trip, but also getting to see some friends we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, so we might do that, but we're kind of wondering if you guys have any cool places that we should go check out that would be within, I would say a day's drive of Oklahoma, of northeast Oklahoma, where we're at. We don't want to do anything where it's literally like on the road for 3 days. Like, we're not going all the way to Washington, nothing of that nature. California, I think, is a little too far out of it for now.
All that, they all have like fires and stuff.
Well, yeah,
on.
true.
So it's like there's so much stuff as far as like natural disasters that are happening right now that it's just like, and of course, keep all those people in your prayers and those cities and those places.
We just ain't trying to go there.
Yeah.
But we also don't really want to do anything that, requires masks and stuff like that, where you got to be in a mask all day. We prefer scenery, things of that nature. Maybe there's like cool, rivers or lakes or, awesome campgrounds that you've been to.
Maybe some hot springs somewhere that are like real, legit hot springs.
Yeah, anything of that nature, let us know. This is something we kind of need to plan sooner than later, so we can kind of get a trail of where we want to go and kind of plan it out, see how long it would take, what type of money it would take to do it, that type of thing. I'm kind of bummed because I was wanting to do the Pensacola thing, and these people didn't know it yet, but I was really wanting to go by and see Nick and Linda in Tennessee, and then go down to Kinfolk Farm of Georgia, try to like make a trip and meet some of you guys and hang out with you guys. We could still potentially do something. Maybe there is something towards the East Coast that we could do. Whenever we went to North Carolina, that was still a cool area. It would definitely need to be something before it gets too cold, so I just don't know as of right now where to go. But we definitely want to take a trip. We don't want to do anything that's like an hour from here. We can do that any day.
Yeah, we want to take a trip, and we want it to be,
we gotta celebrate that the van's done.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it'll be done, but it'll be done enough that we can take a trip.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, we want to do something to where it's like not something that we could do every single day. Like, you have to plan it, but then again, we don't want to be gone too long.
Yeah, I have some people that can watch the animals and stuff, but I don't want to put it on them for too long. So, it'd be one of those that, yeah, something outside of Oklahoma, probably really not Texas, because been in Texas. Now, I will say this, I think it's near Amarillo, Texas. They call it the Texas Grand Canyon, and you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The place that I wanted to do music videos for so long.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they have stuff like that. That would be cool. If it was like going, say Colorado up to New Mexico, down, hit up the Amarillo area and come back, maybe. But I don't know. I definitely, I don't know. It's it's hard to say, because we've been to a lot of places already within kind of a day's drive of here. But I know that you guys know of, I wish this was live so we can ask you guys give us answers, but I don't want it to mess up our plans of going on a trip. And I'm really curious to see how the van runs and drives long distance. See truly if the weight added into it was too much, still the same. She's already done, basically 5-hour drives. She says it's still roughly the same, but just kind of test it. Normally she goes back to Dallas, but she's staying at somebody's house, stuff like that. It'd be cool just like strictly rely on the van, that type of thing. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, because right now, like say, when I head back to Dallas, it's a 5-hour drive, and then, if I go anywhere from there, it's usually back up here, which is just another 5-hour drive. So it's like I'm doing somewhat long distances, but it's just like one day, and then I don't really drive a whole lot while I'm there, and then drive back. So I haven't driven longer than 5 hours.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, get up in the morning, we'll make coffee in the van. We kind of test that little kitchen thing out. We've made like soup and whatnot in the van, but we've never really like cooked in the van. But we do have like the grill that you could use outside to have a fire and cook like that. I would just assume that's kind of what we would do if we went out, unless they had like some type of burn ban.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own grill that I keep in the van at all times, and then we use yours when we're obviously at Jason's property. But I don't even really have pots and pans. I need to get some pots and pans for just like, any trips that I go on.
Yeah. And I'd be curious too, like, the cool thing is, we've done it in the truck, but it's like when you're driving, you get tired and you pull over. Now it's a little more relaxed in a van. We've slept in the truck with stuff piled up in the back, with these seats kind of moved back.
Every time we've tried to sleep in the truck, it's just so uncomfortable.
Well, and then on top of that, it's always, one time it was raining real bad, so we couldn't roll the windows down. One time we could roll the windows down, but the bugs and humidity were terrible. We've slept in the truck many, many times, so this will be a huge upgrade. And I'm kind of just curious, because I won't be doing it long term, but just to kind of see it more a little short term, and then I can kind of give her my feedback on, hey, I think you should probably keep this or do this different, and then she could do what she wants with it, my advice. But it would just be another person's advice. And the same thing with Jessica,
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you're clearly not in this all the time, but what did you think? What needs to change? What's good? What's bad? And then you get some perspective outside of that may give you an idea that you weren't thinking about. Whether you change it or not, that's up to you. You're the one going to be in it full time.
It's always nice to have a fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah.
To kind of see things that you don't catch because you're there all the time.
Yeah, you might overlook it. But on that, we've been using an ice chest, and it's roughly, the ice melts within a day, then the water stays cool for about another day, so you get about 2 days out of it. But she needs,
I definitely need to invest in a better ice chest or something. We did have the refrigerator cooler thing that plugs into like the
cigarette lighter.
Yes. I wasn't a huge fan of that, just because you either have to keep it in your car when your car's running, or plug it into the Jackery, and I don't want to have something plugged into the Jackery full time. That would be something that I would get later down the line when I got solar on the roof. That's like, this is solar solely for a refrigerator or something of that nature. I don't want to keep it plugged into the Jackery all the time. So, do you guys have any suggestions for a good cooler aside from a Yeti? Those are a little bit out of my price range right now.
Yeah, because you talk about just strictly like ice coolers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jared got one from Academy. From what he said, it works pretty good, but I don't know.
I know that there are like knockoffs or just other brands that are like Yetis that keep ice for like up to 5 days. Something like that would be great.
As long as it's not over.
Bank.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I could afford it, of course I'd just buy a Yeti. Those are, I've never had one, but I know people who have them and they love them.
You know you're in the country when a dude on a 4-wheeler is driving by you. I don't know if y'all saw that or not. But something like that. And then also food. What are easy meals to cook on the road? We've always traveled a lot, but we were in the truck. We never could really, cook.
Always like granola bars or like stuff that you don't have to cook at all.
Yeah, and we'd always have to stop and eat at a restaurant, fast food or something. That's basically what you're trying to get away from. But I personally really like the kind of like the MRE type meals, a little camp mountain something. What are they called?
Those ones where you just put water in it?
Yeah.
Those things are actually really good.
Yeah, they're really good. And
they're just a little pricey.
Yeah, I got very lucky and I had some viewers send me some, and I was very impressed, like over the top impressed. Some of them were literally enough for a meal for two, if you were to split it and say like some of them were like lasagna. Say if
lasagna's good.
Yeah, say you went to Walmart and you bought like a loaf of bread for, the good like Italian bread or something for $1, and then you have one of those, you can easily cut the bread in half, split it, and that would fill you up. That's a good meal. It doesn't take up a lot of room, but sometimes you do want fresh cooked meals and fruits and vegetables and stuff of that nature. I do know she's been watching Donna Van Life for a while, and I don't even have to watch the video now. As soon as I hear her voice, I know it's her, and I don't even really watch the videos. But she was saying something too about like her fruits and stuff like that. Like they didn't last very long. So being able to learn from her doing stuff, she lives in it full time. It's cool.
Well, she had watched the Jackery review and she had messaged me on Instagram. She was like, funny story, kind of not a funny story. Because I had mentioned in the Jackery review video that to pay attention to the weather, because you have to take that into account. If it's going to be an overcast day, you're not going to charge your Jackery very much. It'll pull a little bit, but not enough to charge it or run anything. And she was like, yeah, that's really good advice, because I came into that situation not thinking about it, because she's from wherever she's from, it's pretty sunny. And she was like, I realized that my refrigerator, the solar wasn't running it because the power wasn't powerful enough, and so she had to plug it into the Jackery. But she was saying that because of the weather, she didn't even think about it and not pulling in energy because it wasn't sunny outside.
Yeah, and that's another thing too that I kind of looked into for her van. The generator I have is too big. It's something that's big and bulky and stuff like that, but Harbor Freight came out with another one that's a 2,000 watt instead of a 35 or 36, whatever I have, and it's the quiet version, stuff like that. I think it's $400.
Yeah.
I think it's about $400, and I would like to wire her van up with like 2 outlets that has a cord that runs out, kind of like you would like an RV or anything. That way she can always plug into a camping spot if they had power, or into the generator if the weather was bad, that type of thing.
Like for emergencies.
Yeah, you never really want to use it unless you just have to, but it's good to have, because again, say if you went through a week spell of nothing but rain and you can't charge your Jackery, you're kind of screwed as far as power goes. So at that point you could charge your phone and stuff, but as a YouTuber, you need your camera batteries, you need your laptop and stuff. So at that point, you could literally stick the generator underneath the van so it's not getting rained on, plug it in, and have power. And then you charge your Jackery off of that while it's running.
Because the only other way to charge your Jackery is if you were driving.
Yeah, through the cigarette lighter, but that takes even longer because it's not really pumping out a lot of watts or whatever. But yeah, kind of some stuff on that if you guys could give her advice and stuff. And then again, just kind of wrap it back around where we could potentially go for the first trip. And if any of you guys live in the area, if we're able to, I'd love to do like small meetups or something, like just to meet, maybe even if it's just a couple of you guys, go eat, somewhere, or if we're at a park or something like that. I don't think we'll do some like extravagant, like try to plan like a big meetup or nothing. But if there's some place near you that's cool, maybe you could show up to like, you know, the national park or whatever it may be, and we can kind of meet some of you guys. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, so just drop all of your suggestions, maybe somewhere we could go, somewhere we could meet up, something like a cool cooler, just
Food,
Yeah.
what type of foods, just so many things that I know a lot of you guys have traveled before, or maybe you've just researched so much. What's the best options? Are there really good kits, I guess, as far as like camping pots? I got some a while back. Actually, we did at the ranch, and then I brought them up, and those worked out great. It's my little teapot thing, and now Matt has it, and stuff like that works perfect. People would always make fun of me, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's so tiny," but it was just enough hot water, and it was so small that I could leave it like in my truck or my tiny tent, and it didn't take up a lot of room. So anything of that nature. You've kind of found a toilet.
I did find a toilet that I'm considering. If you want to look at it, I have it listed on my wish list, but I'm not sure if I'm going to buy that particular one. It's just really small. It's like a collapsible bucket, and it comes with like the lid and the seat and stuff. And I'm considering it, but I'm not sure. I'm still kind of looking at my options, but that's the one I think I might go for right now.
Yeah, so if you check that link out, you can each look at it and let us know. Maybe you've seen reviews on it, maybe you've used it or something like that, or maybe you even know of a better one. Again, not trying to break the bank on any of this stuff, but some of you guys might know a little better, better than we do. It may have experienced it or know people that have. And I think another thing that would be cool too is, I don't know if there's anyone that's watching this, but if you know of any other like van life people that would be in the area that we pick, it'd be cool to kind of meet up with them and then maybe pick their brains and stuff and figure out, hey, what's good, what's not, what places have you been to, what works, all that stuff. So maybe some of your favorite van life people, or RVers or whatever, let us know down in the comment. There's so much that's gonna be going on in these comments, but
yeah, I'm looking forward to going through it and seeing what you guys have to say, because it is a lot. But these are things that I especially have been thinking about lately, like a lot, because I am gonna start taking more trips very often. The van's
it's getting closer and closer.
It's getting closer to being done, and so I'm very much so looking forward to hearing all of your guys' advice and your ideas. So yeah, if you forget something, comment again.
Yeah, and I guess that's pretty much it. As of right now, I would just say we're probably leaning more towards Colorado, New Mexico as a trip, just because I'm super bummed. But I'm even bummed more for you guys that live down there in Florida with the hurricanes and stuff
going on and stuff.
Yeah, so as of right now, we're thinking maybe Colorado, New Mexico, top part, like northeast of New Mexico. But if you live in those areas, let us know. And maybe there's some cooler places. In New Mexico, we want to go check out Ghost Ranch. We've been there before, but this time it would be cool to do more of like the
tour, and stuff like that.
And kind of go see where they did the movies and stuff. Kind of talked about that before. And then Colorado, I think you can go to the Rocky Mountains 50 times a year, and it'd be cool because the wildlife will always be different. You never know what you run into. Go to different little camping areas. This time it'd be totally different. You don't have to get out and like pitch a tent and stuff. You got your van, you're good to go. So that's kind of what we're planning on right now. So if you are in the areas, let us know, and then again, maybe we could do like a meetup or something. But yeah, it's a lot to take in, but we're trying to figure this out sooner than later. And then once we get that trip done and the van's completely done, then Jayleen's gonna need to know a lot of places she can go, because at that point it's game on.
Yeah, I do want to, after we do that and stuff, once the van's completed, like all the way, I do want to plan like a 2-week trip and really like go for it and just kind of fill it out and see what I learn being on the road that long. So yeah, any ideas of cool places, let me know.
Yep, so yeah, I guess leave a bunch of comments down below. We're about to get to where we're going now, and hopefully you guys have an awesome day. It's been hectic for us lately, I guess, but in the end, it's all worth it. Super excited for everything, and hope you
Could be
guys,
worse.
yeah, hope you guys have an awesome day.
Yeah. that's definitely not going to happen anytime soon for me, anyways. I don't know if Jason's planning on having any babies, but
I can't. I have one about every morning after my coffee, but I give birth, but never to a living being.
Just to a monster.
Yeah, crazy monsters you don't want to know about.
But I'm really glad now that, you know, it didn't happen. And of course it was tough back then, but looking back now, you know, our lives would be completely different. And I'm looking forward to the direction that my whole entire life is going right now. And I'm definitely a completely different person. And at that time, it was hard enough for me to focus on everything I had going on in my life. I didn't even have time to focus on myself. And so now I have that time to really focus on myself and kind of do the things I've always wanted to do and not have any type of pressure at all. And just kind of live in the moment and be happy and focus on the things that I've always wanted to focus on my own. And I guess it's a blessing to me now, even though back then I felt like it was a curse.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of comments in the videos and a lot of people telling me in person and, you know, a lot of stuff when, you know, we were back together, you know, back in the day and all that stuff. People would always say, do it now before you have kids. I'll tell you that right now, because they had kids. They knew as soon as you had a kid, you kind of had to settle down. You still could do stuff, but you settle down more than the kind of lifestyles we're living now.
Well, because it's not just about you anymore.
Yes, at that point, it's about, you know, at that point, and I always said, I am no rush to have a kid. I didn't even know, like, my whole, like, early 20s and before that, I never even wanted kids. I totally enjoyed just doing me and doing my own thing. And then, you know, once, you know, got married and stuff, I was like, I could see myself having a kid. You know, my parents definitely want grandkids and stuff. And I was like, I could see this. Like, it's not that I don't want kids. It's just I didn't really want them at the time. But I always said, if I ever had a kid, I think I'd be a really, really good dad because I would sacrifice everything for the kid. You know, I wouldn't be, you know, I don't know. I would in my mind, I think I would do everything for that kid as much as I could. And, you know, I think I'd be a good dad. But as of right now, you know, some people, you know, even say too, like, you're selfish. You're not having kids, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're kind of selfish because you had kids and you're still acting like you don't have kids. So that's kind of the crazy thing in my eyes when people really don't take care of their kids the way I personally think they should. And so because of all that, we're still able to live the life we're living now. And yes, there are people out there that are off-grid building houses that have kids and they're doing it fine. I'm sure they're thinking this is the best thing that ever happened to me, but at the same time, this is a lot harder to do. It puts a lot of pressure on you, you know, stuff of that nature. But I think the fact that we didn't have kids, it was for the best at the time and everything like that. So I don't, you know, it's always funny, those, what is it, Flexil tape, where they're like, bad relationship, and they like slap Flexil on there, and they like label it baby. This could fix anything, and it never does. There's a lot of people out there that have a baby to try to fix the problems, but then it makes it worse, and then now you have a kid with two separate parents, you know, instead of one family. And I'm not glad we split up and we had our issues and stuff, but I'm glad that a kid wasn't put through that if it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I definitely think that, again, everything happens for a reason, and I'm much happier now, and I'm glad now that I don't have any kids, and if it happens one day, it happens. I never really was like before I met Jason, I was in a really long relationship, and even then I never really thought about having kids, and it wasn't until, you know, we had gotten together that we even talked about it and decided that was something we wanted. So we were both, I feel like, kind of in the same boat in that aspect where neither of us really ever thought about having kids, and we were both like, yeah, it'd be cool with like one. And then, you know, we tried and tried and tried, and then eventually it was just like, well, if it happens, it happens, and it never did. And you know, everything happens for a reason, and I'm not glad that we went through everything that we did, because it was not great, obviously.
But I don't have to pay child support now.
But I'm happy with where I'm at in my life right now, and I wouldn't be here